guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. This is my 2022 bullet journal setup, which I am so excited to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So I usually don't enjoy doing super complicated cover pages, especially for New Year's. However, this year I decided to make an exception. So as you will see on the left hand page, I have a quote for the year, which is, "This is the beginning of anything you want," which is super motivating for me, especially since there are a ton of new things I want to try out this year. And I've also included 2022 written in Roman numerals. So on the right hand side of the page, as you will see soon, I have included a pretty complicated, not very well thought out drawing, but I really do love how this turns out, and I hope that you guys do as well. So I decided to do the quote writing in a rainbow color using these big intensity fine liner pens that I haven't really been using as much as I probably should be. So I wanted to make it colourful but also really simple, so I've only used 6 colours as you can see, and every different letter gets a different colour. I've also included the MMXXII, the Roman numerals 2022 I kept in black pen, and as you will see with the drawing, I kept the background using the same black pen, but I drew the actual main attraction of the drawing with the rainbow colours again. So I really like this kind of contrasting juxtaposition between the black pen, which is like really black, and then the brightly coloured rainbow pens, and it's just really interesting to look at, and I think it's really fun to look at as well. So as you can see, I quickly measured out 6 equally sized boxes using a ruler, and I will use each of these boxes for a different colour based on the rainbow pens that I'm using. So the final effect should look something quite like a rainbow, and I am really pleased with it, how it came out. But I will say that this took a lot of time and a lot of planning, you guys. So just be warned, if you wish to do something similar, you're going to be sitting there for a while. As you can see, here is the final effect, which is meant to be a person reading a book in a beautiful mountain background. And as you can see, I am adding in the background, which is a mountain and a river and trees. I also did a lot of this off screen because, as I said, it took a lot of time, and when it comes to shading and depth, I kept it pretty simple by just coloring in every second tree and using straight lines to add shading. Again, I didn't really want to take away from the main focus of the image, which is of course the rainbow. And finally added in some tiny details, which are the birds, before moving on to my monthly overview page. Again, just quickly measuring out 3 equal sections on each page, so 6 sections total for each of the 6 pens that I'm using. I was originally going to use plain black pens for this, and kind of sort of regret not doing it, just in the sense that the final writing was difficult to read. I did include the dates for the different months on top of these things. So for some areas it was definitely a challenge to read it afterwards. However, it is definitely a really cool idea, and I pretty much do love how the final outlook was. But again, it did take a lot of time, and it was slightly difficult to read in the end. So you've probably realized by now I'm only including 4 different months. So I'm going from January, February, March and April. This is because I have a lot of things happening this summer, and I know that I will probably not be able to journal as often as I would like. Also, the end of this current notebook that I'm using, it will only last me until April. So I will have to move to another notebook. So personally, I just don't feel the point in including all the months of 2022 when I will be changing notebooks halfway through. So as you can see, I am now adding the writing on top of the multicolored mountains. You can probably see already there are 1 or 2 areas difficult to read, especially purple pen. However, the final look is pretty cool once I add in all the highlighters. So each month I have divided it into 3 different sections. The bottom section is for events such as holidays or birthdays. The section in the middle is for exams or quizzes I have at university, and the larger section is for my university assignments. So I will be attending uni until April as well, which makes this monthly layout the perfect area to include all my assignments for semester 2. So once I have each of these 3 sections in for each of the 4 months, I am going back in with the highlighter as promised, and this is actually a dual brush pen rather than a highlighter, but it is definitely causes the exact effect that I was looking for, and they are pastel, they're Tombow pastel dual brush pens, so it really does match my whole rainbow theme. I did choose to only use 4 colours instead of 6, but because I do only have 4 months that I'm including here, but also I didn't want to completely overpower each of these spreads with tons and tons of colours. So finally, once I do have all the colours and all the boxes in, I went back with the dual brush pens and just wrote in the abbreviations for each month, and then went back with my black pen, because of course I do have to include some detailing with the black pen. I wrote in each of the titles for the 3 sections for each month, and as you will see, I also added some details to the titles of each month as well. I did consider doing a sort of offset bubble writing when it comes to this, but since the actual titles of each month are perfectly centered for each monthly layout, I just really didn't want to offset that, so I ended up doing super simple, just shading on one side of each of the letters to make them stand out more and to give it a bit of depth. So here is the final look, the final layout of my monthly overview, and with that done, it is on to my next spread. So this is specifically school and university related. I wanted to include it right after my monthly overview just because I do include assignments in that as well. So this is a 2-page spread. The page on the left is for assignments and the page on the right is for exams, which kind of acts as a grade tracker as well. So again, using the same rainbow pen colored setup, and since I did actually only have 5 titles as opposed to 6, I ended up using the final pen for the lines to separate each section. And this actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting, especially since the drawing at the bottom, which easily takes up 1/3 of the page, is done purely in black as well. So if you haven't already guessed, the theme, I suppose, for my 2022 layout is this kind of cabin, mountain, trees, very much an adventure exploration type theme. As I said, I am going to be doing a lot of new scary things this year, so I wanted something to reflect that and also to motivate me into going outside my comfort zone and just doing really, really fun and interesting things. So as you can see, I did add some very simple detailing to this image again, just to copy the same theme and the same type of drawing that I was doing in my cover image. And now it is on to yet another spread, and this is my exercise, workout, fitness tracker, as well as a page for measurements and to keep track of weight as well. So this is something that I first did, I believe, 2 years ago, and I just made a super complicated layout and it just did not work at all. Then last year I tried something different and that definitely did work, but it also helped me learn what would work even better. So as you can see, I am including 4 sections, 4 different colored boxes, again for the 4 months from January to April of 2022, and I'm keeping the same color scheme that I used for those 4 months in my monthly overview as I am for here. So I have a section for each of the 4 months, and then the left side of the page is 31 days for each of the dates. I also just quickly blocked out 2 areas in my February and in my April spread, since neither of those months have the full 31 days and I didn't want to accidentally fill them in by mistake. So with that done, I have a very simple layout at the bottom again, just to include the total hours that I spent working out for each month as opposed to each day. So after that, I have included another small adventure themed drawing at the bottom right corner to keep in with the overall theme, and also because I have no space at all left on my measurements page, as you will see in a few moments. Also included a key directly next to this layout because it is slightly complicated. I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to work out. However, there are 3 different sections. There are 3 different boxes for each day. So the first box is going to be the target area of the body that you're working, such as your arms or your core or your legs. After that, you have the type of exercise that you're doing, so whether this is strength or agility or endurance. I also included 2 labels for yoga and running, since they do encompass quite a lot of the previous mentioned types. And finally, I have a duration or time area, just to include how long I spent exercising for each day. So each of the abbreviations used for each of these 3 sections will be filled into one of the 3 boxes I have for each day. You guys confused yet? Because I'm already confused and I haven't even started this spread yet. However, after that, we do move on to the measurements category. So again, the 4 different colors for the 4 different months. And I went back to my rainbow colored pens, writing in each body part to keep measurements of. And for similar parts like right arm and left arm, I did use the same color pen just to make it easier to see and to remind myself that there are 2 arms and 2 legs and so on and so forth. Now it is on to a weight tracker, which is of course super helpful to keep a track of if you are exercising or working out. So I did this based on pounds, and the numbers at the bottom of the graph correspond to each of the 17 weeks between January, February, March and April. I also included a section to the right of that just to include the ideal weight and the ideal measurements based on a person of my age and height, and etc, etc. So this is also something really important to keep in mind if you are exercising. It can be really easy to focus on a number such as your weight as opposed to what is actually healthy for your body type. So please do keep that in mind if you do have a spread similar to this. But with that being said, this is the end of my fitness layout and tracker. Again, this is pretty specific to me. However, I hope that it will definitely help at least someone else out there, because that is what makes it good. And now it is on to my final spread within Miss the Bullet Journal for 2022, and that is highlight of the week. So this is something that I started last year, and I actually really enjoyed doing it, because it definitely shows that no matter how bad a day is or how bad a week is, something good happens at least once in every week. It's also really nice at the end of the year, such as times like this, to look back and just see all the really nice things that happened each week. And it's also super helpful for cheering you up if you are in a bad mood. So again, I've just included each of the 17 weeks, or the 17 weeks between January and April, and using the same colours, just went back in and wrote each month. So this brings us to the end of the spread, and also the end of my 2022 journal setup. I really hope you guys like this setup. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Please like this video if you like the spread. Smash the subscribe button and notification bell. I update new videos every single week, so please let me know if you have any ideas for future videos. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.